Hello, good morning. My name is Andrea and today we're going to talk about the past unreal conditional. This is a topic for today's masterclass. So, first of all, let's talk about the past unreal conditional. What is it and when do we use it? So, first of all, the past unreal conditional is a conditional and like all the other conditionals, it's going to have a situation and an outcome. In this case, that is all going to be hypothetical because we're going to be talking about a situation in the past, something that already happened. So we use it when we have a situation that we want to change, so we imagine how the situation could be different. And then we also guess the outcome. So the past unreal conditional is going to be about a situation that happened in the past and that we imagine if we had changed that situation, if we had done something differently, how would that reflect on the outcome that we had? Okay? So let's continue. When we have the past unreal conditional, we're going to have to need two components. The first one is going to be a hypothetical situation, and then we're going to have a hypothetical outcome. How does this work? Let's see here the example. Hypothetical situation. If I had studied. Hypothetical outcome. I would have passed the exam. What does this mean? This means that in reality, I didn't study. Because of that, I didn't pass the exam. I failed. That is what really happened. So now I imagine, what can I change? What could I change about the situation in the past? So I imagine, if I had studied, I would have passed the exam. So you see right here, this didn't happen. I didn't pass the exam. I failed. That's why I want to imagine something different in the past. Of course, this is hypothetical because we cannot change the past. That is why it's called a hypothetical situation. And it has a hypothetical outcome. That is because we also cannot know the outcome of something that didn't happen, something that is hypothetical. And then we have the example, if I had studied, I would have passed the exam. Now let's talk about the structure that we're going to need for the past unreal conditional. This is also called third conditional. So you're going to have two parts to this sentence. The first is going to be called the if clause, and the second one is going to be called the result clause. Okay? So in the if clause, you're going to mention what is the hypothetical situation. And in the result clause, you're going to mention what is the hypothetical outcome. So the structure for this is going to be if plus past perfect for the hypothetical situation, and then subject plus a modal, then have plus the verb in past participle and a complement. Let's take a look at the chart. First of all, we have for the result clause, you. In this case, that would be the subject. Remember that a subject can be a pronoun I, you, we, he, she, it, they, it, or it can be a name. Rosa, Armando, Peter, Jackson, etc. Okay, in this case, you would be the subject. And we're gonna be able to choose one of these modals. It can be might, could, or would. You can create your sentence with any of these three modals. After you have your modal, you need to have the auxiliary have and a verb in the past participle plus a complement. In this case, we have You might have gotten a better interest rate. You could have gotten a better interest rate, or even you would have gotten a better interest rate. And then for the if clause, which is the hypothetical situation, you're going to start this sentence with if. If is going to let readers know that this is a conditional sentence. This is not real yet. This is just a condition. So don't forget to always include if when talking about the hypothetical situation. So when you have if, you're also going to need a subject. Once again, you can choose a pronoun or a name. And then you're going to use the verb in the past perfect plus a complement. The example that we have right here is if you had gone to a different bank. So you could have gotten a better interest rate if you had gone to a different bank. Okay? Here, when we talk about the modals that you can use, remember that you can use might or could in the result clause when you are uncertain of the result. But you can use would in the result clause when you are certain. All right? Excellent. So let's continue. You can choose the order in which you want your sentence to be structured. It can be with the hypothetical situation at the beginning or at the end. It's not going to alter or affect the meaning of your sentence. You just need to remember to write the two components so that it's easy and clear to understand. So for that, you're going to have two different patterns. For the first one, you're going to have if plus had plus past participle, and then would, have, and past participle. The example is going to be, if it had been a nicer day, we would have gone to the beach. Okay? See how in this example we had the hypothetical condition at the beginning, which is if it had been a nicer day, and then we have the hypothetical outcome at the end. We would have gone to the beach. All right? But you can also change that using the next pattern. Would plus have plus past participle followed by if plus had plus past participle. The example would be, we would have gone to the beach if it had been a nicer day. Okay, it's the same sentence. All we did was change the order of the hypothetical situation and the hypothetical outcome. All right, you can see there that in this case, we would have gone to the beach is the result that goes at the beginning of the sentence, followed by if it had been a nicer day. Okay, so both of these patterns are okay, and you can write your sentences or speak using any of these two patterns for the past unreal conditional. Let's take a look at some examples. First of all, we have, if she had taken the job, she would have moved to Europe last year. In this sentence, we have the hypothetical condition or situation at the beginning in red, if she had taken the job. I imagine what could have happened if she had taken the job. And I guess the result. She would have moved to Europe last year. Very nice. In the second option we have, if you had not forgotten your cell phone, we could have called a taxi. Okay, once again, we have the hypothetical situation at the beginning. If you had not forgotten your cell phone, we could have called a taxi. But here you can see that we can have these sentences in affirmative or in negative statements. In this case, we have included a negative statement in the hypothetical situation, also called the if clause. If you had not forgotten your cell phone. Don't forget that you can also use contractions, as we will see in the next example at the end. Another example is going to be, if the child had not stolen the money, his parents would not have grounded him. Again, this is an example of a sentence that has the hypothetical condition at the beginning. If the child had not stolen the money. And then the result, a hypothetical result. His parents would not have grounded him. See how in this example, both parts of the sentence have negative statements. Had not stolen and would not have grounded. Okay? Then we have another example. Laura might have become a great actress if she had studied at Hollywood. Here we change the order of the sentence. Now, this sentence starts with the hypothetical outcome, and it has the hypothetical situation at the end. So, the outcome was Laura might have become a great actress. And then we have the hypothetical situation, if she had studied at Hollywood. And finally, George could have bought a car if he hadn't spent all his savings. Okay? Here we see how there is a contraction for the negative statement in the if clause. So, basically, you need to remember that you can write these sentences with the hypothetical situation and the hypothetical outcome in any of those two patterns that we saw before. You can also include negative statements either in one of the clauses or in both of them. Like we saw in the example, if the child had not stolen the money, his parents would not have grounded him. So, right now I want you to look at these examples. Here you will see sentences in which you will see the real situation or the thing that really happened. Now you're going to see some examples about these hypothetical or imaginary situations and outcomes. Right now you can pause the video, take a look at these examples, and then come back so that we can check the correct answers. Okay? Okay, very good. Let's see. For the first sentence, we have, I wasn't thirsty. I didn't drink the lemonade. So we want to change this. We want to imagine something different that happened in the past. And the right answer would be, if I had been thirsty, I would have drunk the lemonade. Pay attention to this contraction right here, would have. You can also use this contraction and you can find it in text when you're reading or in other exercises. For the second one we have, I didn't know Kirsty was in town. I didn't call her. I imagine a different situation with a different outcome, and the answer is, if I had known Kirsty was in town, I would have called her. Okay, and finally, we're going to have, I didn't know watching this documentary was important for our exam. I didn't watch it. Remember, that is what really happened in reality. And now we need to imagine something different and then also guess the outcome to that different situation. In this case, we have, if I had known this documentary was important, I would have watched it. All right. These are the correct answers. If you got them all right, then that's perfect. So, finally, let's remember some of the things that we have learned today about the past unreal conditional. So first, this is a tense, a grammatical tense, that we're going to use to talk about hypothetical situations in the past. Remember, this is a tense that we use when we want to think or imagine that something different happened maybe when we're not happy with the result, or we just want to think of other possibilities or alternatives. Okay? These are always going to be hypothetical or imaginary because they are all related to the past and events that already happened. You can use the modals might, could, or would. Remember that might and could are going to show that you're not certain about this result, where on the other hand, would is going to show that you are certain about the outcome that the situation could have proposed. Not only that, but you will need to practice the past perfect for this tense. You will need the past perfect in order to make sentences that are grammatically correct. If you do not remember the past perfect, you can check it online. You can check at the resources that you had from previous years. And remember that the past perfect is going to use a subject, the auxiliary had in the past, and the verb in the present participle. Okay? And then finally, you're going to need to practice irregular verbs because you will need them both for the if clause and for the result clause. Remember that irregular verbs are those that change and do not follow the normal structure for ed endings. Some of these examples can be leave, that becomes left, know, that becomes known, eat, that becomes eaten, write, that becomes written, among many other examples of irregular verbs. One more thing, you can always remember that this sentence can change because it has two different patterns that you will be able to use. One with the if clause, that would be the hypothetical situation at the beginning and then followed by the hypothetical result or outcome, or the other way around, where you have first the hypothetical outcome followed by the hypothetical condition. And more importantly, always remember that if is going to be the word that makes sure that everyone knows that this is a conditional. So don't forget to write or include if when you're talking about the if clause, also called hypothetical situation. So this is what you're going to need when you work with the past unreal conditional. Thank you so much for being here, and goodbye. See you later.